Thanks again for joining us for another Tuesday morning adaptive at-home workout. Sorry, I got a little fly around here in the house, and it's kind of getting on me, kind of bugging me. Anyways, welcome this morning. We're going to go ahead and get started here with a little bit of a warm-up. Today is all upper body focused, so nothing too major. A lot of seated stuff today. You will want either a towel, a resistance band, or a lightweight, something that 5 to 10 pound range. We will be doing quite a few reps. So I would start out with the lighter side of things as we go through rounds. If you want to increase the weight a little bit, by all means, jump up on a weight. I got my weights over here. I got my water too. Make sure you grab your water for hydration. We want to make sure we stay hydrated. If at any time you need to take a break throughout today's workout, by all means, take 5, 10, 15 seconds, take a minute, take what you need to relax, to get your heart rate down, to recover and jump back in when you feel ready. Once again, a little disclaimer, make sure that you're checking with your physicians and that you are cleared to do some of these workouts. Last thing we want to do is promote injury. We always want to prevent injury. So make sure you are in good health and ready to do these things. But today, like I said, today's upper body focus. So we're going to be doing a lot of shoulders, triceps, biceps, a little bit of back, a little bit of chest. Once again, weights, resistance bands, or a towel. And by weights, if you don't have a 5 or 10 pound weight, a gallon jug, if you have an old empty milk jug, fill it up with some water, make sure the lid's on tight so you don't get drenched. But that adds some weight to it, and it's a great little thing you can do at home if you don't have the weight. But let's get ready to get into it here today. So first warm up here, we've got 3 rounds of these 3 exercises. We've got jump rope, we've got straight arm jacks, and we've got the Heisman. We introduced Heisman about a month ago. We'll talk about that one again when we get into it. But just simple jump rope, jumping in place, spinning the arms. Modified versions are there as well. If you need to modify, it's just that quick steps, which is what we do every week with the dog in place. And for our wheelies out there, some arm circles or some straight arm circles if you want. You can mix it up and do some, act like you're jumping rope with it a little bit. Or if you want to do some of the forward, or let's see, the arm straight and arm up, kind of what we'll get into with the straight arm jacks. Get your arms moving a little bit, wheelies. Just get that body moving. All right, here we go. Jump rope. Here we go. Just 1 minute up here. We got 1 minute of this, and then we'll switch into some straight arm jacks. Like today, since today is all upper body focused, it's going to be a lot of arm movements and warming up that upper body. Hope everybody had a great week this past week. Weather was beautiful. Had an amazing weekend. Hope you guys got outside and enjoyed it a little bit. I got 15 seconds. Switch to straight arm jacks. If you want during these exercises, during this warm-up time, over-exaggerate those arm movements a little bit. You can go slower if you want to. You can go faster. All right, straight arm jacks. Over-exaggerate those movements. Really get those muscles moving, warming up. 15 seconds. All right, 10 seconds. Heisman. It's kind of a quick step to the side steps. We're going to come 1, 2, 3, crunch. 1, 2, 3, crunch. 1, 2, 3, crunch. And it's just that quick step. So as you get into it, if you're ambulatory and you can get up and move, this is a great little workout to engage the core, to engage the legs, and get that upper body moving a little bit. If you're having to modify this one, we're looking at stepping it, going a little slower. All right, but still kind of trying to do the same thing. If you also want to do a high knee crunch, that's also, if you don't feel like stepping, if you are unable to do that comfortably, you can sit there and just kind of march it out in place. So you want to make sure you bring that knee up as high as you can. and engage the core. For wheelies, same thing, crunch twist. Taking our arms up, bring it down, arms up, bring it down, crunching as we're going each side, making sure to try and engage the core. All right, back to jump ropes. You guys are doing great. For a modified version of this, it's getting those arms moving, exaggerating those arms. We're just tapping our feet out in front of us. Just that quick step. Okay. Halfway, 30 more seconds. You guys are doing awesome. Keep it up. 10 seconds. We'll jump into some straight arm jacks. All right, here we go. Ready? Straight arm. Here we go. Thirty seconds. Halfway there. Halfway through the workout. Have a good warm up. Not close to the workout. We still a long way to go for the workout. All right. And high. This is a great exercise as you get more advanced to do over a ladder for ladder drills and really work on quick feet. And track and field, this is one they really work on a lot for agility and quick feet. Keeping ground contact at a very quick pace, very fast repetitions. But to have a ladder laid out 20 feet in front of you as you run down it, doing this in and out of each box, it works really well. Makes you tired really quick. It's a fun one to do. Start out at your pace and always increase speed. All right, here we go. Jump rope. 30 seconds. Last round here. Last round of warm up. Every exercise that we do is a minute long. I promise you, you can do anything for 60 seconds. All you gotta do is tell yourself to do it, put your mind to it. Take a small break in between each workout, each exercise. You know what? You can do anything for 60 seconds. All right. Straight arm jacks. For a modified version of this, quick feet, where you're just moving your arms up instead of for a jump rope and for more wheelies. It's up, out, and up, out, up, out, up. Get those arms moving. Get the shoulders warmed up. 30 seconds. We'll get into high plank again. After this round, grab some water. We'll set up, grab your water, grab your weights, grab a towel if you want, wipe that sweat off. Set up for our first set. set it up. Hi. These past 5 weeks, we've kind of been in that intermediate phase, just a little bit above beginner level exercises. We've thrown in a few advanced moves here and there, and we've continuously tried to progress and get stronger each week. You know, as we're in between each Tuesday, I encourage you guys to go back to our YouTube channel, Facebook, and watch some of the old videos, go along with some of them, and keep implementing them throughout the week. One day a week should not be your only day to get your heart rate up, to do a little bit of exercising. You should be implementing these 3, 4, 5 times a week. Always consult with your physician first, but try and get a few more days than just once a weekend. But as you progress and continue to get stronger, it's important to keep implementing this. All right, that's the end of warm up. Grab yourself a towel, kind of cool off a little bit. Grab your water, hydrate, and then we'll move into round 1. Whew. Round 1 is going to consist of some bent over rows. We'll get into that one. So with our weights, we'll show you how to do that one. If you have a resistance band, I'll also demonstrate that one a little bit. We'll get into some dips and some planks. 3 exercises, 3 rounds, a minute each. Do what you're comfortable doing. Do what you know you can do. At the end of round 3, we'll push ourselves a little bit. Maybe up the weight, up the speed, maybe. However you feel like it's necessary to push yourself a little bit. I've got my 5 pounds, got my 10 pounds, got my resistance band somewhere around here. Up here. I won't be using the resistance band. I'll be focusing more on the weights. All right, but I will demonstrate with the resistance band on what you can do here. So we'll start with the resistance band. Do a quick demonstration. We've got 2 types of resistance bands. We've got loop bands, which are just like this one. Very simple. You can buy these off of Amazon. You can buy them from Dick's Sporting Goods. I believe Target, Meijer, and Walmart also sell some of these, different variations of them. They come in different colors. Each color represents a different resistance. They're wonderful. If you want to use this type of resistance band for a bent over row, what we're going to focus on is putting our hands in between in the loop like this. Come down in between your knees wide apart. And as we pull back, we're pulling our arms out and we're pulling our arms back and pinching our shoulder blades. So we're bending at the elbow, pulling back, bringing our hands to our chest while also expanding, trying to push out on our hands in that band while pinching our shoulder blades together. The main focus here is our shoulder blades, but also giving that little bit of resistance and pushing out with the band. That's all you're going to be doing here. So you don't have to go way down into the bend over, but just enough to kind of have your arms out in front of you. You're going to pull your arms back, pinching your shoulder blades together and pushing your hands away from each other. I'm just going to do a few of those. When you do these, go slow and controlled, right? You don't want your hands to come clapping back together every time. So that's just a simple way to use this one. If you're using a resistance band more like this one, a cord, put them under your feet, grab it anywhere you want to on them. All we're doing here is we're pulling back, pinching our shoulder blades together. You want your feet out in front of you, maybe 6 inches apart, shoulder width if you're comfortable with that. Here, you're just pulling back, pulling your elbows back to your side, shoulder blades, pinching them together behind your back. And that's all we're doing here. Very, very similar to if you're just going to use your weights. Resistance bands also work very well. With the resistance band, you can adjust the amount of resistance by how close you are to your feet. So the bands have different resistance. The cords have different resistance. But if you grab really close to your feet down here and you pull up there, that's going to be a much harder resistance than if you're to give yourself some slack and start a little bit farther back. So some little quick tips there. So it's been much longer than a minute break, a minute rest here. I'm going to grab my weights, got my bench for some bent over rows. You can do these seated. You can do these standing. It is up to you. But we're just going to start feet out in front of us, about 6 to 8 inches apart, shoulder width if you're comfortable with that. Weights down by our knees, by our ankles, and we're just pulling up, pinching our shoulder blades together. So we've got 1 minute of that. Hold, when you're pinching your shoulder blades together, hold it for a second. Okay? So 1,000, 2, 1,000, come back down, go right back into it. We want to keep our core tight and engaged here. We don't want to round our back. We don't want to have poor posture here. Make sure we keep our core tight, our back's flat. We're just lifting the weights up, pinching our shoulder blades together, coming back down. 30 seconds into it. Slow, controlled motions here. We do not want to go fast. We don't want to get out of hand. This is not cardio. We are focusing on pinching those muscles together and giving them some resistance and doing a mild strength training. Something you might be asking yourself, well, how is this going to benefit me in the real world? How am I going to use this to overcome some of the challenges in front of me? Well, for the wheelies out there, you use a lot of shoulders, a lot of back, and a lot of chest. And so anything you can do to help increase that strength, increase that stamina, will benefit you long period. So put this aside, minute is up. Next, we're going to get into some dips. So from here, if you have a chair or a bench that you're working with, you're going to put your hands either right beside your buttock, right beside your glutes, your hips on each side, and you're going to walk out in front of you, and you're going to do some dips. All right? We're just keeping our feet out in front, keep your core engaged, and drop down. If you're in a wheelchair and you have the armrests, or you have your wheels, lock your wheels out from your armrest. You're just pushing up and just spinning yourself up above your seat, and then coming back down, relaxing, and just repeating that. So some armrest push-ups. Well, let's get going here. All right, 1 minute. Main focus of this, while you're engaging your core a little bit, is really for your triceps and shoulders. Triceps are the muscles on the back side of your arms, on the upper part of your arms, and your shoulders. There's a lot of different muscles in your shoulders. Talk to your physical therapist, doctors, whether or not your shoulders can handle this, or if there's other ways of modifying this one first before jumping right into it. All right, 5 more seconds. All right, from that seated position, going down to the ground here, we're just going to be doing some planks. For a modified version, come onto your knees and elbows. All we're doing here is keeping our core tight, shoulders tight, engaging everything here. You want your shoulders or your hands about shoulder width apart. You want your feet, if you're going to be on your toes, also about shoulder width apart, straight in line with your hips. And we're just going to hold this for a minute. If you're not comfortable and you want to modify this a bit, drop to your knees. Same position though, hold it there. If you feel like your arms are getting tired and shaky, you can drop down to your elbows and do it from the same position. Knees and elbows, toes and elbows, hands and toes, hands and knees. Main focus here is shoulders and core. Keep them engaged. As we get into the advanced part, we'll do some walking out of that one. All right. Here we're going to go back into bent over rows. If you're going to do this from a standing position, grab your weight, feet shoulder width apart, bent over, kind of bent knees, bent waist, back, bent at the hips. Keep your back flat, keep your core engaged. And here, same thing as you were when you're seated. Bringing it back, holding it for a second, pinching shoulder blades together, driving elbows back and down. Back and down. 10 more seconds. We'll get back into some dips here in just a second. So go ahead and set it up. Good job. Drop the weights. Set it up for some dips. Feet out. You can come out, toes, feet flat if you want to. I always like to rest on my heels. Just more comfortable being in a prosthetic than trying to sit straight up. You do not have to go all the way down to where it feels like you're hurting your shoulders. Just that little bit of dip is really all you need. This one is a little bit faster. There's not much of a pause with this one. You can pause down, you can pause up, get that little bit of a rest. Shoulders are burning 10 more seconds. 5, 4. All right. One more. There we go. Come down. Set it up for that plank. I'm going elbows and toes this time. Elbows and toes. On that next round, we're going to do some, I'm walking it a little bit. From this plank position, you're engaging your core. You're rolling your hips forward, pushing your pelvis into the ground and up. It's going to feel a little awkward at first, but when you feel it, when you get it, you're really engaging that core. You'll feel it. Come up. Can't see my clock. 15 seconds. All right, drop it down to your knees. Last round. Get back into that bent over row. Grab your weights, feet shoulder width apart. I'm gonna go back to sitting on this one. High seat, feet shoulder width apart. Core engaged, back flat. Drive your elbows back and down. Put your shoulder blades together. One thing that helps to keep that back flat. Look forward. If you look down, sometimes the natural instinct is to want to round your back. Natural habit. If you look up, it helps you to engage your core and keep your back flat. 15 seconds here. I'm sweating. How much you guys? I'm sweating. It's a good though. It's the beginning of the last round of this set. All right, set your weight aside. Coming to some dips again. Remember, continuous motion. Really no pauses in this one. Can you take a break? Take a break. Do 15 seconds, take a break. Do 15 seconds, take a break. Don't rest for too long though. And jump right back into it. There we go. One more set of planks here. I'm gonna take a water break. Just wipe the sweat off. Fix the microphone. All right. Set up for planks. We don't want to be sitting with our glutes way up in the air. We want to keep it back down to level. You're gonna feel like your back is a little bit rounded here, engaging the core, keeping it tight. Rotating your hips forward or rotating your pelvis. So you're engaging your core. "15 seconds. You guys are doing awesome. Keep it up. Keep it up. Good job, guys. Good job. Grab some water, grab your towel, set up for the next round. All right. Next set of exercises. Tricep extension. We're going to be using the weight. We're going above our heads here. So from a standing position or a seated position, whatever you're comfortable with, grab the weight. We're going to go above our head, engage core. I always like to rest my hand right on my chest, or right on my core here, just make sure I'm always engaging it. But we're going to be coming. Make sure you have a weight that you're comfortable holding above your head. You're going to be holding for a little bit. So whether it's 5 pound, 10 pound, whatever you're comfortable with, but we're just doing some tricep extensions here. We're going to do single arm. All right. If you're getting tired and you want to go double arms, both arms, grab the weight, kind of interlock your fingers above your head. Best from a seated position. But here, we're just doing this. All right. Focusing on single arm first. All right. And if you feel like you're getting tired, you drop your weight, put both hands above your head for safety purposes. Bicep curls from a standing or seated position. Either one work. We're just coming here. We're doing both arms. We're going to alternate here, right? When you come up into that contracted position, you want to focus on contracting that muscle, contracting that bicep muscle, and holding for a second. So that's the bicep curls. Like I said, this is all upper body stuff. Shoulder rotations. Okay, so this is going to be both core. I'm sorry, next one's core. So shoulder rotation. This one, you're probably going to want to grab that 5 pound weight or a lighter weight. Sometimes just holding your arm out in front of you. But shoulder rotation here. Holding it in this position, we're going to be rotating our arm. So coming in, we want to try and keep our upper arm in a locked position, and we're rotating in and out. Keep that elbow locked, rotating in and out. You do not have to go all the way out. Pay attention to your rotation and what your limits are here. Just a little bit of out and a little bit of in. All right, that's your shoulder rotation. So 10 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever you're comfortable with. First 2 sets, we'll go at a comfortable pace. That last set, if you want to push it a little bit, increase the weight, try a few more reps, by all means, go for it. Take a few more seconds here. Grab yourself some water. Grab yourself a towel, wipe off. Once again, 3 exercises, 3 rounds, 1 minute each. 1 minute each exercise. If you're using a resistance band, I would not recommend using a loop band for this. It's a little more difficult. You need more range of motion than what a lot of loop bands allow. But if you're using a cord like this one, you can either sit on the cord to do tricep extensions, or if you're standing, you can stand on the cord to do the same thing. You want the cord to be behind your back while seated on it. Give yourself a decent amount of resistance, but it's the same thing as if you were using a weight. All right, nothing hard. You sit on one side, do both. Arms on the same side. Bicep curls, just stand on it as you're in the standing position, or if you're using a wheelchair, roll over the cord, lock the wheels out on the cord, and you're just doing that bicep curl. These really come with the shoulder rotation. You could lock it in a door or a window, and I haven't set up here behind me. You lock it in, and you can just sit there and do internal rotations, and then you rotate your body around and do external rotation. So either of those work really, really well. But we're going to go ahead and set up here. Tricep extensions. Grab your weight, grab your resistance band. Here we go. 1 minute. 1 minute. We'll do 30 seconds each arm because we've only got 3 rounds here. So 30 seconds, and then we'll switch. All right. When you're in that up position and you're pushing up, focus on contracting that tricep muscle. This is your tricep back here. We want to focus on contracting that and using that muscle. If you begin to feel uncomfortable with holding a weight above your head, and you have that resistance band, use the resistance band going above your head. Switch arms. If you still feel uncomfortable with that, you can take the resistance band, lock it in the top of a doorway, shut the door, and you can pull down on it. It's going to activate the same muscles. Instead of pushing up, you'll be pulling down. One of the benefits to pushing up is it requires you to engage your core and stabilize your upper body while you're doing it. All right, we're going to switch to bicep curls. Grab both weights here. So with the tricep extensions, one of the benefits to going above head or overhead is it is engaging your core a little bit more, helping to stabilize your upper body. You got to make sure you're comfortable and strong enough to do that. If you have to progress into that one, use the doorway, lock the resistance band, the cord, in the top of the door, shut it in the top of the door. Some of the other resistance band that works well too is if you've gone through physical therapy, a lot of times they will give you some long resistance bands that are just the bands themselves, no handles, no ties, anything else like that. It's just that straight band. I think I've got one over here. I'll show you that in between rounds here. You can take that, tie a knot in it, and close that in the top of the door, above your door frame, or above your door, in between the door and the door frame. And that works really well for doing some tricep extensions, but pulling down instead of pushing up. All right, shoulder rotation. Grab your lighter weight here. Because you are holding it in that bent position, that 90-degree position. We don't want to exhaust the bicep while we're doing these exercises. Not on round one or set one of these exercises anymore. So. Other exercises that I would highly recommend doing too, that are not in this video, are some shoulder raises. So some shrugs are great, out, and some forward. Those are some great exercises to also do. If you want to tie those in to these workouts at the end of each video, do 3 sets of 10, do a minute of each. Not all at the same time. Don't do one set, 3 exercises, and a minute each on each of those. Your shoulders will be burn out and you struggle to move the next day. But implement some of those into your workout. It's great for your shoulders, great for endurance, great for stability and balance as well. All right. I did all of one arm. We should have switched 30 seconds into it. So I'm going to do quick 30 seconds over on this side. Shoulder rotation on my left arm is always tough. I had an accident, involved in an accident that resulted in much stuff several years ago. And while we did physical therapy to work on it for rotation purposes, rotation outward was always a challenge for me on that arm. All right, you guys. Back into tricep extensions. Use the same weight if you want to. Increase your weight if you want to. Grab that resistance band. Going back above the head. 30 seconds. Here we go. The next challenge, from a seated position, if you're able to stand and you're ambulatory, stand up and do these. Stagger your feet a little bit, gives you a little bit better stability and foundation underneath of you. Stagger your feet a little bit, shoulder width apart. But standing up, it requires you to engage core and hips a little bit more for that balance and that stability. But it's a great exercise to do in a standing position. All right, switch arms, bring weight down in front of you. Switch arms, I'll go up, both hands. Keep your core tight in this. Keep your core engaged. You want to keep your back straight. We don't want to round our backs. We don't want to slouch. We want to continue to have great posture during all of this. All right, grab that second weight. We'll go into some bicep curls. There's many variations of curls. So you can do a hammer curl where you keep the weight straight up and down. You can rotate a little bit when you're coming up, right? Or you can keep it in that rotated position the entire time. all variations work some of the minor muscles a little bit differently. Play around with it, do what's comfortable for you, do all of them. You know, a great one that I found for runners as we are doing our running motion and we're out running, if we want to do overhand curls, where we keep our palms facing the ground. It just kind of simulates that shoulder rotation a little bit more while we're out running, but also helps strengthen some of the muscles that we need for arm swing while we're out running. We digress. Switch it up, grab the smaller weight, grab the lighter weight. I'll go back into some shoulder rotation. But yep, that was one of the things I had a coach introduce to me a while ago, was just that overhand, palm facing the ground, bicep curl. And over the years of doing that, over the training sessions, I have found that was a benefit to my run. It allowed me to engage that arm swing just a little bit more and get that, you know, you're pumping your arms anyways, and it's free energy while you're out running and not moving. For our wheelies out there, you know, your hands are constantly in that palm facing the ground kind of position. And so to have that would also, I see there's a correlation there and a connection to allow for some benefit. Again, remember, keep the core tight while we're doing these shoulder rotations. Switch hands at that 30-second mark. We've got 5 more seconds here. And we'll get back into some tricep extensions. All right. Good job, guys. All right, put the weight down. Every one of these can be done from a seated position here. So, all right, shoulder, weights up. Here we go. 30 seconds, and then we will switch. There's different variations of how you do these as well. The overhead extension, tricep extension. If you're going overhead, try and keep your elbows in line with your shoulders, maybe a little bit outside your shoulders. Whether you come back, go there, that's a little tighter on the shoulder, a little harder, but it's still engaging the tricep. Switch arms. You want to do what's you're safe and comfortable doing. Don't do anything that's going to jeopardize you, put you in a position where you feel weak and you're going to drop the weight on your head. Last thing we want to do. So if you're wanting to explore different positions of the arm and how you handle that, try the resistance band. All right. By using the resistance band above your head so that way you're not dropping some weight on your head. All right, bicep curls. Switch it up, grab both weights. Remember to breathe during all of this. On these sets of exercises, it's not as taxing on the body and getting our cardiovascular up as much. You're still engaging those muscles. The muscles are still using oxygen. So you've got to remember to breathe. Breathe slow, breathe deep. Rejuvenate those muscles. Give them the oxygen, the blood that they're needing, they're wanting. And switch it up. Shoulder rotation. If you want to try your heavier weight here, do it. Challenge yourself a little bit. 30 seconds. Remember to engage the core. Keep flat back. Every Tuesday, every exercise, every routine that we do, I'm always going to emphasize engaging that core. Core is one of the fundamental foundation pieces that we have. Whether you're a wheelie, whether you're ambulatory, use a prosthetic, use a orthotic device, core is how we balance. Core is how we continue to pursue independence and overcome the challenges that we have in front of us. It all stems and starts from the core. That is that fundamental foundational piece. Posture is very important. Oops, I forgot to switch. I'm getting tired of it. The next round that we're going to get into, we're going to take a quick break here after this last 30 seconds. Grab some water, grab a towel, take a breather. But we're going to get into some advanced moves. Very similar to a month ago when we did the same exercise, when we did the upper body, but we're going to challenge us up a little bit more. So we'll get into that here in just a second. We got 10 more seconds here. First, grab your water, hydrate. Good job, guys. This advanced round is all body weight stuff. There is no need for weights during this time. So it's just body weight stuff. We've got walking push-ups or push-up walks, shoulder taps, staying from that plank position, and walking planks or walking pikes. So engaging core and shoulders, almost every single exercise during these advanced moves is core and shoulders. So if your shoulders weren't screaming before from the last workout we just did, they might be after this one. But grab some water, take a few deep breaths, wipe the sweat off, get ready to go. From these, and also from these advancements, if you need to do them from your knees instead of your toes, so for your walking push-ups, your push-up walk, as we're going side to side here, you can go from your knees. You can do those from your knees. Shoulder taps, you can do those from your knees in that plank position. Walking pikes, that one's a little bit more difficult. For those of us who are ambulatory, going to be trying this one. That one you're going to have to be on your toes. We're walking our hands back to our toes, touching our toes, walking back out. Water again. Modified versions of each of these two. So some of these modified versions, we're going to go back into what we were doing before. So come down here so you can see me. For our push-up walks, modified knee push-ups. So if you don't want to walk side to side, as we're kind of rotating a little bit side to side as we're doing our push-ups, just from that knee position, if you want to do standard knee push-ups, do those. For our wheelies, we're just going to be doing some wheelchair dips here once again. Going back to round one here. Just those simple armrest push-ups, armrest dips that we did. Shoulder taps. So from that plank position, we're going to be tapping shoulders. So as we're sitting there, palms down, we're coming up, tapping each shoulder, right? Engaging our core, doing all of that. For a modified version, just from your knees. If you want to be from your knees in that same position, doing the same thing from the knees instead of your toes. And for our wheelies, alternating toe touches. So I'll demonstrate this one from bench over here. What we're going to do here is as we come down, we're doing alternating toe touches here. So plant our hand on our knee, come down left hand to right toe, and trying to engage core on this one. So sitting back up using our core, not really pushing off with our arm, but coming down and then coming back up. And then we're just going to alternate. Come down and up, down and up. The only reason I have you really putting your hand on your knee here was for balance and stability. If you don't want to touch your knee, you don't have to. You just come down into it, touch your toes. So very simple. Walking pike. Variations of or modified version of this, just that plank. If you want to do a standard plank, you can do that, or knee plank, going down to your knees and elbows, knees and hands, however best you feel comfortable doing that one. Wheelies, this one, if you want to use a throw pillow, you can. But I said throw pillow shoulders here. If you want to grab your weight, since we're using a lot of weights here, you can do weights. But this is the same exercise I just talked about implementing earlier. Some of the shoulder raises here. If you want to come out in front of you, if you want to hold the weight, this is a great one too. You hold the weight out in front of you, just come up, come back down, come to parallel to the ground, come back up. Great exercise to do during these walking times. So some advanced moves, if you're comfortable using a 5-pound weight, do it. If you want to use your water bottle that you were drinking out of, that adds a little bit of weight to it. If you're comfortable going heavier, it's up to you. You have the ability to adjust your workout while you're at home doing these things. So completely up to you. But we're going to get started here. So walking push-ups. So get down into that push-up position. From here, we're just walking over, right? Push-up. Walking over. Push-up. Just going to keep going here. One thing to do here too is good to know a proper push-up. We want to keep our elbows close to our body. We don't want to push our elbows way out. That can cause shoulder injury and some chest injuries. We're not trying to promote injury, but prevent injury. So keep shoulders, keep your elbows in. As you're doing these, keep your core tight. 10 more seconds. And then set up. For shoulder taps. All right, rest. Quick second, set up some shoulder taps here. You're gonna want a little bit of a breather in between each one of these. Shoulders will feel it. All right, shoulders, plank position, feet shoulder width apart, hands directly underneath your shoulders. We're just gonna tap it out here. Keep your core tight here. If you feel like you're swaying a bunch, not doing it right. We don't want to be swaying. You want to keep your core engaged, keep everything tight here. You're going to sway a little bit. Your body's going to rock, but you don't want to be over exaggerated with that. At any point you need to drop down to your knees, do it. Remember to keep that core tight. If you at all feel shaky, drop down to your knees. Get 10 more seconds. Give me 2 more. There you go. All right, drop down your knees. Last one, walking pikes. Same position, feet shoulder width apart, hands directly underneath your shoulders, walking our hands back to our toes, touching our toes, walking it back out. Give my shoulders a break here. All right, set it up. Feet shoulder width, we're gonna walk it back. Touch toe, walk back out. If you wanna do a push-up here, go for it. I did those last week. I'm gonna pass this week. One thing we don't wanna do here, try not to bend your knees, all right? And if you can't touch your toes, all we're doing is walking it back, holding it, walking it out. Walk it back as far as you can. Walk it back out. Another version or variation of these, if you have sliders that you can use on carpet. Paper plates work sometimes. Put paper plates, put sliders. We're done, guys. Nice job. Underneath your toes, and engage your core, bring your toes up to your hands. A lot harder. We might introduce those in a couple weeks. All right. That's the end of the advanced moves. Those will get you sweating. Those will get you moving. Get you breathing heavy too. All right, we're gonna get into our cool down. Very important. So now, as you're sitting there, standing there, get in some shoulder rolls. All right. We've got these 3 stretches, and it says it wrong on there. We're gonna do 3 rounds of these 3 stretches. All right. There's really no time or reason, rhyme or reason to any of this as far as length goes. We're just rotating our shoulders here, kind of stretching things out. Over exaggerate these movements if you need to. If you want, you should. So we did about 30 seconds backwards, 30 seconds forwards. Hand rotations here, hand circles. Medium-sized hand circles. We're not going huge here. We're just doing some hand circles out away from us. And we're going to switch up and go the other way. All right. So Swans are one of my favorite ones. Right. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right. This next one, feet shoulder width apart. We're going to breathe in, arms up. We're going to go down, touch our toes. Go slow. You're going to hit a point to where you feel like your hips have stopped and you're just rolling and rotating at the back. Very normal. And slowly round your back and stand up. You're going to breathing in, arms up. Breathe out, arms down. Do more, and then we'll move into touching our toes again. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. Breathe in. Breathe out. All right. Breathing out. You're going to keep your arms up. You're going to stop. You're going to feel like your hips stop at a certain point. Very normal. And when that happens, continue to go down. You're going to start rounding your back a little bit. You go down a little slower. You can touch your toes. Great. You're just going to hold it here for a second. Your feet shoulder width apart. And then round your back and slowly stand up. Continue breathing this entire time. All right. Breathe in, arms up. Arms down. Now one more. Arms up. Arms down. All right, breathe in, arms up. And we're going to bend over this one. Touch your toes. Try and touch the ground if you can. You're going to feel this stretching in your hamstrings. Maybe in your calf, depends on how tight that lower body is. And stand up. Slowly round your back as you're coming up, breathing in and out. Grab some water, grab a towel. Nice job, guys. Keep it up. I'm going to encourage you, jump back over to the YouTube channel. Jump out, check out some of the previous exercises. Implement those into your weekly routines. Guys, keep progressing, keep moving forward. Keep chasing that independence, all right? Good to see you guys again. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next week.